Get them now! Move! Get them now! Move! Get them now! Move!
Now at 11:30, we continue following breaking news out of San Diego County, where a strong earthquake jolted Southern California this morning.
Yeah, the 5.2 quake was centered in the mountain town of Julian. KTLA 5's Chip Yost is live at Drive 5 with more. Chip.
Yeah, hey there. Go ahead and Lou. We are headed towards Julian. Right now we're on the 78 East here in San Diego County. This is inland San Diego County where this earthquake happened. Let's show you a map. You can see on the map where Julian is, quite a ways inland in the San Diego County area. The earthquake struck at around 10:08 this morning, and it was measured as a 5.2. So obviously, the closer you are to that, that's a pretty decent jolt. And we are now getting some videos in of what some of the people saw there. Take a look at this video we're going to show you right now. This from the Rancho San Diego area, which is about 33 miles from Julian. And that kind of looks what some of the folks we've talked to down there in San Diego County said they experienced. One of the people we talked to is our own Jamie Chambers. You may remember Jamie Chambers from his KTLA days, now works for our sister station down here in San Diego, but also does a lot of work for us still. He was at home when the earthquake struck, and here is what he described.
It was pretty wild.
Yeah? Tell us about it.
We experienced just a rolling. I was sitting in my kitchen, and all the chandelier starts to roll around, and all the lights are moving all over the place. And where I'm in Carlsbad, and so we're pretty close to Camp Pendleton, and we're used to experiencing artillery from Camp Pendleton.
Right.
So it first started with that boom, and we go, "Is that normal?" And then everything started shaking, and it was pretty intense for a good 4 to 7 seconds, and then everybody starts to react. Everybody starts to get into a safe spot. But boy, that makes you feel alive.
Yeah, but it did make him feel alive. So one way to wake you up. And just Lou and Glenn, tell you where I was when the earthquake happened. You remember the Judge Jeffrey Ferguson trial, the murder trial of the judge in Orange County. The retrial started today. The first trial, of course, ended in a hung jury. We were on the 11th floor of the court building in Santa Ana, Orange County Superior Court building, and the defense attorney was in the middle of her opening statement when all of a sudden people's phones started going off with the warning, and the judge said, "Hold on a second," and then all of a sudden I don't know how many people felt it. I felt it. It was a real time, to me it felt kind of small where we were in Orange County, but I definitely felt a little bit of a shaking, and the judge said, "I think we're having an earthquake. Hold on for a minute, everybody hold on." And after about a minute or two, when it looked like it was all settled, she asked the jury, "Okay, guys, are you guys okay if we keep going, or you need a break?" And they said they're okay. So then they continued with the trial. But kind of an interesting moment in that murder trial when the judge paused the action a little bit because of the earthquake. But we're on our way to Julian. We'll be there probably in about an hour, and we'll give you a live report from there once we get there as well. But for now, reporting live here in Drive 5 on the way to Julian, where the 5.2 earthquake hit. I'm Chip Yost, KTLA 5 News.
First, and the bigger quake happened around 8:03 a.m. New Zealand time. An earthquake of magnitude 6.5 struck south of Fiji Islands. The quake was at a depth of 174 kilometers. Aditya Vadhavan is joining us for more details on this story. Aditya, an earthquake being reported from New Zealand and Fiji. Give us more details.
Well, absolutely. A preliminary 6.5 magnitude earthquake hit south of the Fiji Islands on Sunday night. You know, the United States Geological Services said the quake was at a depth of 174 kilometers, 108.2 miles, the USGS added. The National Weather Services confirmed that there was no tsunami threat due to a quake deep sea origin. Tremors were felt in several parts of Fiji, such as the Lautoka Islands, the locals reported on social media. So, you know, Uday, if you see the USGS recorded the earthquake at 8:03 a.m. local time with the US tsunami warning system confirming it occurred south of the Fiji Islands. So far, the USGS has not received any reports of the quake being felt. So, you know, now it needs to be seen from here on how the situation unfolds. You know, the 6.5 magnitude earthquake was the strongest to hit Fiji this year, surpassing the country's largest earthquake of 2024. That previous 5.9 magnitude tremor struck in November last year. So Pacific Island nations like Fiji, Tonga and Vanuatu are located among the Pacific Ring of Fire, which is a seismically active arc where tectonic plates meet, which results in frequent earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Yes, Uday.
All right, Aditya, thank you for joining us with those updates. On that note, we're going to slip into a short.
An earthquake of magnitude 6.5 struck south of the Fiji Islands on Monday. The tremors occurred at a depth of 10 kilometers, making it susceptible to aftershocks. The south of the Fiji Islands is known to be earthquake-prone, as evidenced by recent seismic activity and historical records. Now, this region is located within the Fiji seismic zone, an area known for frequent earthquakes. The zone experiences numerous earthquakes, including some of significant magnitude as well.
"52 people have been killed in eastern DRC over the weekend in a renewed outbreak of violence. The Congolese government and the M23 rebels traded blame with each other over responsibility for the attacks. Most of the violence between Friday and Saturday took place in the city of Goma, which has been under the control of M23 rebels since January. A branch of the Wazalendo militia, a self-defense rebel group fighting alongside the Congolese military, has claimed responsibility for the attacks in Goma. The Congolese armed forces, however, denied having played any part whatsoever in the violence. The renewed fighting has threatened the ongoing peace efforts by both Qatar and African nations. According to a statement by Congo's Prime Minister in February, at least 7,000 people have been killed in the conflict since January. The fighting has also worsened one of the largest humanitarian crises in the world and displaced more than 7 million people.
Now, the U.S. president's popularity appears to have taken a hit after the global uncertainty and market meltdown following Trump's tariff announcements. The latest YouGov poll shows increased disapproval for the Republican leader on several parameters. On handling the economy, 51% of Americans disapprove Trump's performance so far, while 41% approve of actions that he has taken since assuming presidency. When it comes to handling inflation, 55% of Americans disapprove of Trump's job performance so far. Of those who have a negative view, 19% are Americans who voted for Trump during the 2024 presidential elections. 36% approve of how Donald Trump is handling inflation. However, not much has changed on how Americans feel about immigration. 50% approve of how the U.S. president has handled immigration in the country, whereas 44% disapprove of his performance. Despite the concerns and backlash against Donald Trump's relay of decisions on reciprocal tariffs, the U.S. president remains steadfast in his approach, saying that the country is richer today than it was a few months ago.
What is your message to markets tomorrow? There's some ambiguity, or at least some questions about whether there were exceptions or exceptions.
There shouldn't be ambiguity. We have a tremendous country. We have a country that's much richer today than it was a few months ago. We have a financial system that's very respected, and we're going to do great. And we were taken advantage of and ripped off by every country all over the world, almost, just about. They laughed at us. We were run by foolish people, and they took advantage of our country, and we're just not going to let that happen anymore.
After announcing reciprocal tariffs on 185 countries on April 2nd, Trump declared a 90-day pause last week with the exception of China. Both Washington and Beijing remain embroiled in an escalated tariff standoff, while other leaders are looking to negotiate trade terms with the U.S.
The tariffs will be in place in the not distant future because, as you know, like we did with steel, like we did with automobiles, like we did with aluminum, which are now fully on, we'll be doing that with semiconductors, with chips, and numerous other things. And that'll take place in the very near future.
And all the things.
And what we did is we want to uncomplicate it from a lot of companies because that's really where it should be, ideally. And we wanted to uncomplicate it from a lot of other companies because we want to make our chips and semiconductors and other things in our country. And
do you know what rate the semiconductor tariff?
I'm going to be announcing it over the next week.
And are you going to announce tariffs on things like iPhones, tablets?
Well, that's going to be announced very soon, and we'll be discussing it. But we'll also talk to companies. You know, you have to show a certain flexibility. Nobody should be so rigid. You have to have a certain flexibility. And we're doing really well, and financially our country is going to be stronger than it's ever been.
So some products there's flexibility for some products?
For some products, yeah, maybe.
Can you say what kinds?
No, I'll be announcing it in the not too distant future, but it's going to be separately announced.
Do you have a reaction to Russia's Palm Sunday attack on Ukraine?
I think it was terrible, and I was told they made a mistake, but I think it's a horrible thing. I think the whole war is a horrible thing. I think the war is... For that war to have started is an abuse of power. This country would have never allowed that war to have started if I were president. That war is a shame. Millions of people are dead that should be alive. Cities are being destroyed all over Ukraine. The whole culture is gone. We're certainly very severely hurt. Get it stopped.
Witkoff, sir, did you meet with Mr. Witkoff today?
I did. I met with him, and he had some very good meetings on the Middle East, and he also had good meetings having to do with Russia, Ukraine.
Yep.
Can you give us an update on Iran?
Well, we're going to be doing it very shortly. Iran also. It was another way. I met with a different group of people in Iran, and we'll be making a decision on Iran very quickly. Yeah, please.
Back on Russia, Ukraine. Resolving that war has taken a little longer than you predicted. Can you pinpoint the reasons why?
It's a deeply seated war. And again, it's a war that people didn't expect would start. And in my administration, there was no chance that it would start. And it didn't, by the way. You know, I went 4 years and it didn't start. People say, oh, well, how do you know? Well, I know because I went 4 years and it didn't start. You would have never had that war. It would have never started. Putin never would have started it. I mean, I think, frankly, he had so little respect for Biden that he started it for that reason. And obviously, he didn't get along very well with Zelensky or anybody else. And now you have millions of dead people. And those people, every one of them should be alive right now. Thank you very much.
Are you considering additional sanctions against Russia after their latest attack? And do you have an update on the rate and when you might announce semiconductor
Well, I already have
tariffs?
sanctions on Russia. I put them there. If you remember, Nord Stream 2, that's the big pipeline that goes through Europe. I stopped it. That's Russia's pipeline, the largest pipeline, I think, in the world. Goes to Germany. And I stopped it. And when Biden came in, he approved it. And then they say, oh, I'm friendly with Russia. No. Putin said, you know, if you're my friend, I'd hate to see you when you're my enemy. I stopped the biggest economic job they ever had. I stopped it cold, right? It was dead. You know that, right? And Biden came in and he immediately approved it. What was that all about? And it's a pipeline that takes care of a lot of the needs. Now, you know, it was a very controversial thing, but I stopped it, and Biden approved it. Question?
On tariffs,
no, not you.
Iran and the US are set to meet in Rome on Saturday to continue talks over Iran's nuclear program, following a first round of discussions in Oman over the weekend. While the US wants to avoid a nuclear-armed Iran, Tehran could seek sanctions relief in exchange for a limit to its program.
Iran
has never been an obstacle to economic cooperation or investment from the other side. The problem lies with America itself, which, through its complex and multi-layered regulations, has deprived its own citizens of any economic interaction with Iran. So it's an issue the other side should naturally consider and decide on. Representatives of both countries refer to the first round of talks as constructive and positive.
President Trump endorsed a plan to make daylight savings time the national year-round standard. In a post on Truth Social, he said the House and Senate should push to get more light at the end of the day. The president said the proposal is very popular in that it would eliminate a major inconvenience dealt with twice a year, changing the clocks. There are many members of Congress who support this. There's a bipartisan, bicameral bill called the Sunshine Protection Act, which would make savings time the new permanent standard time. It would allow state governments to exempt themselves and choose their own time.
The American people are sick and tired of changing their clocks twice a year. It's confusing, unnecessary, and completely outdated.
Scott said modern technology like computers, cell phones, and self-driving cars makes changing clocks unnecessary.
Changing the clocks twice a year proves more of an annoyance to families than a benefit to them.
Opponents of the bill say changing the clocks for an extra hour of sunlight isn't that simple. According to Save Standard Time, a nonprofit organization, having the extra hour of daylight would mean most people would start work or school before the sun rises, which would lead to safety issues and throw off circadian rhythms. The organization also said dark mornings can have negative health effects like depression, high blood pressure, diabetes, and cancer. The United States tried permanent daylight savings time in 1974 in an attempt to cut back on energy use. It caused problems around the country. Schools had to change their start time because the morning commute was too dark. 8 children in Florida were killed after being hit by cars.
And before we let you go, and it's a wrap on this edition, now we are getting you a list of countries with the highest A1 talent, the highest AI talent in the world. We're getting you more updates on the other side. Thanks for watching.
meteorito? Ay, no creen que iban para allá, Evelyn. Mira.
بطل ونشهد والله اني كانت حلاوة زفر
我操，铁钢炮！我操，浪铁钢炮！我操！
Mamá, ven para acá. Puta la weá. ¿Y dónde tienen el café? El café por acá. Espérate, no, quédate acá porque se te va a ir por la orilla. Papá, yo me decía que fuera a ver a tus manos. Sí fue. Mierda, la weá. Quédate acá, mamá, de verdad. Vamos a la ropa. Disculpa, corre, por favor. Mamá, porfa, tranquila. Ven acá. Viene la canción. Acá. Mamá, acá ven. Mamá, que no te separes de mí. Papá, vamos a la wea, ven. ¿Estáis bien? ¿Cómo estoy? Palpico. Perdón por la presión, pero no lo puedo creer.
너무 시원하시겠어요.
네.
Todos los coches volteados, ya están todos los coches mirados y todo, mira eso.
Pida su deseo.
Ở đây cũng cứu hỏa dập thì xe đằng trước nhiều.
Tại yên với tôi nhá. Tại yên với tôi. Ôi cháy đến nhà dân này này. Ôi này.
Đánh gì đấy?
Ôi giời ơi này. Dã man nhỉ. Cháy không?
Có để ý xe máy bên trong này.
Dã man luôn. Ui. Cháy.
Nè.
Look at that dust devil. Ella just ran through it.
That one. That one.
Look at all those boys running through that.
درسا لا فرع مو بزوتي طلب مستشفيات طلب نايا في عرمية طرفيات يلا خير يلا خير موتري يولاليو موتري يولالي توبا توبا يلا 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 وايد مو موتري يولالي باغا وقرا يلا خير يلا خير هذا بالموتر وقرا لا بالموتر وقرا هذا وقرا
Hey, can anyone tell me what this is? There's like a glowing streak in the sky and it's weird because if you look, the moon's on this side. Right up there, I don't know if you can see it. What the hell is this?